You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
And I am Clint, and this is John from John Tweets Sports. John, how you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, gentlemen. How are y'all?
We're doing great. Just let you know, we changed the intro because one YouTuber said, get to the point. So we're not going to talk about, Daniel, how there's no thing as a guru or an insider. We wouldn't do that, okay?
No,
because we're trying
you did just do it, but we won't do it.
But I won't do it anymore. And I'm going to say instead that we talk like fans do, and fans typically kind of meander through. They matriculate down the field. This conversation is much like matriculating down the field.
Sort of like Stetson Bennett in crunch time, money time against Alabama in the national championship game. 4 for 4, touchdown, put us ahead, never lose the lead.
217 yards on those last 4 drives. Listen, if that's not matriculating, I don't know what matriculating is, and I don't even know what matriculating means.
No, nobody does. By the way, today's episode is brought to you by Run Your Pool. More on them in a moment. But this is Locked On Bulldogs here, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you're on YouTube with us, how y'all doing? Leave a comment. Leave whatever you want to say to us down there. We know you will already, Florida fans. So just jump on in, hit that bell, hit that subscribe, notify. If you're on podcast audio version, thanks for listening to us wherever you listen to audio podcast. Follow us over there, subscribe, leave a rating and review, 5 stars. Helps us out, helps you out, helps other people find the podcast. Daniel, John, we talking about Croots more because Croots are one of the biggest things that you get. You get lotto tickets into the program. The higher percentage chance lotto tickets get a lot of the insight. And today we just might have just the biggest percentage chance lotto ticket Georgia going to see this year come in the recruiting.
Maybe the number one player we signed? John, that's my first question I'm going to ask you. John, is Mykel Williams the number one player? I'm not asking about what gurus or insiders say. I'm asking what John Tweets Sports says. Hey, is Mykel Williams the number one player that Georgia signed?
Yes. If you saw him at the All-American Bowl, holy cow.
Oh, I saw.
That was a man among boys. Yes, I am high, as y'all have heard on other podcasts, on a lot of these recruits, right? Like for me, it's just a great class with what Kirby and company have pulled together. But Mykel Williams has to be the highest, especially if you guys, this young man is about to get some time with Trey Scott. So if you watch him at the All-American Bowl and you watch what he did, and now he's about to come into the Trey Scott camp of champions and see what happens coming out the other side. Holy cow.
Where 3 stars become first-round draft picks and 5 stars become Jalen Carter. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are when you come into the Trey Scott family. When you leave the Trey Scott family, you are much better. That is universally
It's that Steve
true.
Rogers feel. Captain America, Steve Rogers, cryogenic chamber. That's what Trey Scott is. Just go in, and come out looking insane.
If you saw the videos of the facilities these days, there might be a cryogenic chamber in there. Who knows?
Who knows?
But let me tell you, fellas, 6'5", 265 doesn't need a cryogenic chamber. Mykel Williams is already Steve Rogers in terms of the physique, in terms of the strength, in terms of the explosive athleticism. He plays inside on the defensive front. He plays outside on the defensive front. What do we expect? What excites you the most, I guess, before we get to what we think we'll see from him this year, John? What excites you the most about the young man? You mentioned the All-American game. I think many of us maybe got a chance to see Mykel Williams there. But what should we be excited about this young man bringing to Athens?
I mean, we talked when we talked about Marvin Jones Jr. We talked a little bit about explosiveness. We talked a little bit about like technique and the way that he uses, his hands and his ability. For me, I think if you put that explosiveness and that technique and that ability and what you add with Mykel Williams that he showed in the All-American Bowl and even through some of his other film is power. Like this kid is he's just strong. Like when we talked about some of the other recruits, I mentioned a full 5-star. Like he is a full 5-star. And so for me, I think his athleticism combined with that power, that ability to just kind of, run around you, but also just hit you in the mouth and just take up space. Like it's just for me, that's just a great combination that I'm very excited to see how that continues to evolve for Mykel.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't be more excited about this kid, and we're gonna do comps later in the pod, but I'm just gonna preview.
I read. Let me just add one thing. I read somebody on 24/7. I don't know who the analyst was, but he used the term in his. I just remember this. He used the term in his write up. Hand violence, like that. That for me, Mykel Williams. I'm excited about his hand violence.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I mean,
I'm excited for the violence.
T's and P's for the offensive line in the offensive lines of the SEC for years to come for this kid. I'm excited about the comp segment. I'm going to take the comp in a different direction today, fellas. So just a preview of that. I'm going to zag, whereas everybody else might be zigging. I'm going to zag. So we shall see who y'all's comps are. But listen, a lot to be excited about. The question remains, though, is this kid going to be an immediate contributor at the University of Georgia? Is he going to see the field? Are we going to see him on Saturdays in this fall for Mykel Williams as a freshman? We will talk about that when we come back. But first, want to let the good people know about Built Bar. Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. If you've been listening to the pod or watching the show for any length of time, you probably already know that. But Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. It is has the nutrition of a protein bar and has the taste of a candy bar. That is what we call the best of both worlds. Like maybe you would say someone is both fast and powerful, like Mykel Williams. Built Bar is both high in protein and low in sugar. That is sort of what you're getting with Built Bar. It is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth, and they come in a wide variety of delicious flavors, all of which can be found at BuiltBar.com, and all of which can be found for 15% off when you enter the promo code LOCKEDON15. That's right. When you go to BuiltBar.com right now and enter the promo code LOCKEDON15, you will get 15% off your first order, no matter how many boxes you order. So just take our word for it. They are absolutely delicious, and you will love them. You can order a variety pack or a single flavor, multiple boxes. Get 15% off that entire order for your first order using the promo code LOCKEDON15 at BuiltBar.com.
All right, so this second segment, that's what we're excited about. The second segment is to try to figure out, will Mykel Williams find the field in his first year? True freshman coming in. Kirby is not shy about starting true freshmen at every level. There is not a single level that you can go ahead and say Kirby Smart does not. The best guy will get on the field. So that being said, number one recruit in this class, possibly I want to put him, number one recruit overall, just because of how incredible he is. People can differ on that. I think this guy is our best recruit that we have. Again, I'm not going to fight anybody else on their views on that. It's my personal one. John, what do you expect for this coming year, the 2022 season? What do you expect of Mr. Williams?
I expect this kid to play.
Let the kids play.
I do.
Let the kids play, Rob Manfred. Let the kids play. You know what we're trying to say? Let the kids play.
Unless the Braves are not going to re-sign Freddie, and then maybe we just call it a day.
And then shut it all down. Shut it all down. Shut it all down.
No, I mean, Mykel, he's an early enrollee the position that he plays is certainly, they run some complex stunts on the defense, but his athleticism that we mentioned earlier, like I think he's going to be it's going to be hard. There's a couple of kids in this class. The guy's 6'5", 270, and I'm sitting here calling him a kid. But there's a couple of players in this class. I wouldn't call him a kid to his face.
No, you won't.
Mr. Williams.
There you go.
But there are a couple of kids in this class that I think it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. I think he's probably at the top of that list again. I mean, I don't see anything that I have seen from him on film during his recruitment process. Some of the, analysis that I've read of him, watching him play, that tells me he's not going to make an impact. Now, an impact obviously is relative in a Kirby Smart program. They rotate a lot of guys. They play a lot of players, but he's going to find the field. If anybody in this class is going to find it, it's going to be him.
100%.
Yeah, I think you start to look at the depth chart, and it's not like it's wide open there on the defensive line. And we've said this before when we talked about these defensive linemen, Kristen Miller, Bear Alexander. We talked about others. When you talk about this defensive line, and I think Mykel could be a guy that you see move around and play in a few different positions, which is probably to his advantage if he's trying to see the field. But he's not going to be at the nose. He's not going to be right there on the inside. And so he might play defensive end. He might play a little defensive tackle. He might play a little edge, at times in some different formations. But it's not like the depth chart's wide open. And there's a lot of guys that have not had that many reps because, Jordan Davis. Hello, Devontae Wyatt. Hello, Trayvon Walker. There's 3 first-round draft picks on the defensive front.
NFL Combine is this week, and there are 14 guys from the University of Georgia, and many of them are from this position group that are at that.
So the
NFL
fact
Combine.
that you haven't seen very much from Zion Logue and Bill Norton and among many, many others. The fact you haven't seen that much on tape from these guys or that much in meaningful snaps from these guys is not a detriment to them. And I think you learn a lot, John, by who transfers and who doesn't.
Okay.
And you didn't see a lot of these guys leave the program. And so you get the feeling that at least in their minds, they're next. And who might argue those types of things?
Ojulari, Adam Anderson. Again, we talked about it all day long when he's going up. Everybody thought, what's the matter? Adam can't crack. No. He just had an exceptional talent, first-round talent. Turns out Adam Anderson, first-round talent. Turns out all of these kids have that, but they know. Again, you want to talk about a kid not transferring. Look at what's happening right now. 3 first-round draft picks on that defensive line. More to come. They're going to play. If I'm thinking lesser talents have an opportunity to rotate in, I'm talking the best edge talent that we have. He's going to get run.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be the top 4 or 5 defensive linemen on this team in order to get significant snaps in meaningful moments. And I don't think Mykel Williams is going to be one of the 4 or 5 best defensive linemen on this team.
I don't think
especially not at the beginning of the year.
Nope.
But I don't think that's going to matter. I think he's still going to get meaningful snaps in meaningful moments.
100%. Look for him.
I think at his position, he's too athletic to not get him into that rotation and see what havoc he can cause. And so, to exactly what you said, Daniel, I don't think he's going to be a starter. I don't think he's going to show up day one and lead the team in sacks. But I do think he's going to be in that rotation. And I think when you get into game 11, 12, 13, he's the kind of kid you better watch out for because he's going to make some plays.
Yep, 100%. We're going to come back to this after this. Give some comps. We've given out some ludicrous comps on this podcast, and I think we're all going to say hold our beer because
has anyone actually comped anyone to ludicrous? That's what I want to know because this
Luda.
Let me Google how tall Ludacris is real quick.
He's 5'6" if he was anything right
He's
now.
not 6'5", he's not 6'5", 270, John. Let me spoil that for you.
Hey, we'll let you know first about Run Your Pool. Our friends over at Run Your Pool right now, March Madness is here because it is March. We got Selection Sunday coming up. Georgia's not going to be in it. The SEC tournament is just going to be a blaze, but you can still watch good college basketball because college basketball is so good right now. I will watch any game right now. It is competitive. I watched Oregon USC the other night. That was a fun game to watch. That court is awful, but it's fun.
Those are two good teams. Those are two.
Did you watch Gonzaga versus St. Mary's and
St. Mary's good team,
best high school game in America.
Good team,
best high school game in America. Yeah.
Are you going to go with the usual, or are you going to look for the best? We've done our homework, and we're running brackets with RunYourPool.com. Along with standard brackets, Run Your Pool offers game types like Survivor and Pick X, both really fun in their own way. They have options for edit scoring, and they use more intel to make your picks, all the stuff you won't find at ESPN or CBS. Clearly, we're big believers in Run Your Pool because, like we said, we're running our brackets there ourselves. There is no truer test than that. If you want to play against us for a shot at cash prizes, join us at runyourpool.com/lockedon. And while you're in there, create your own pool for your friends, family, coworkers. Enter Pure Madness at checkout for $10 off your custom pool. That's runyourpool.com/lockedon. Enter Pure Madness. We'll see you guys over there.
Also want to let the people know about Rock Auto. Rock Auto is the official auto parts sponsor of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. They're the place to go to get every part that your car will ever need. Clint and I have been known to fix up some old jalopies and profit from them, flip them around, sell them. And so the place that we go when we need a part, maybe it's a mechanical, maybe it is a cosmetic part, maybe it's for the interior, maybe it's for the exterior, maybe it's something simple, maybe it's something insanely complicated, but no matter what it is, rockauto.com has it. Why would you go to the auto parts store when, number one, you're going to be harassed by some teenager with peach fuzz, when you can go to the full mustache of auto parts retailers, rockauto.com, from the comfort and privacy of your own home, and not simply have one of some of the parts that your car needs and be limited to whatever's in the warehouse is what you can take home. But you have a virtually unlimited selection, every part that your car will ever need for every make, every model. All the obscure stuff and all of the regular stuff, all of it can be found at rockauto.com. If you are in the market for a part for your car, rockauto.com is the place to go. In the How Did You Hear About Us section, you can type in Locked On. That would help us out a tremendous amount, and we'll ensure that you get the guaranteed lowest price for your part, for whatever part your car needs at rockauto.com.
All right, comps. Who wants the floor first? Because player comps. Who do we think Mykel Williams is like? Daniel, are we saying Daniel goes first? Is that our pick, John? You teased Daniel. You teased.
I'll go first. I'll go first because it's going to be. Here's what we've done on this segment. If you're new to us talking about the recruits, first of all, there's a whole archive. Audio episodes, you can go back and listen. We talked about a bunch of different players from this class so far. We're not finished. We got more to go. And then if you're on video, obviously go back in the YouTube and you can watch all of those videos as well. John's been on several of them. A lot of insights into a lot of players. But what we typically do in this comp segment is we project a ceiling for a young man. And so we acknowledge that he's not this player right now. It would be insane. But one day, if things go well, we could see this being the way that the story ends for this particular young man. And Clint's right. We have had some insane comps. Well, I'm gonna sort of go the other direction as I teased earlier in the pod, and I'm actually gonna do what I just said we don't do, and I'm actually gonna give you a comp for who I think Mykel Williams is kind of like right now. Like the 18-year-old Mykel Williams today.
Okay, I like what you're doing. I like this.
Not a projection. I think these two people today are about the same. Now, listen, I'm going to say this first.
Yep.
Okay.
Listen, you need to understand what's happening here. this is going to be hot takes. Like, come at our boy because he about to say something that I'm gonna love, and you're not misunderstanding him.
They're not the same person in terms of their frame. Okay, the stats, the measurables, the height, weights. They're not the same person in terms of their position. But I think when you talk about, and John, you mentioned it, when you talk about freak athleticism and speed and physical play, combined with the word you brought up at the beginning of the pod, John, was power, right? So freak athleticism meets power. Now, who do I think of when I think of freak athleticism meets power? And I don't have to go far back into the annals of history in order to suss this out. Because I think Mykel Williams might be Devontae Wyatt. I think they might be the same. Like, that's like right now, I think they might be about the same. Which means, y'all, that Mykel Williams is like, imagine if Devontae Wyatt got up on the Twitter machine and he said, you know what? Hashtag more unfinished business. Hashtag the NCAA changed the rules. And hashtag let's give it 3 more years of Devontae Wyatt.
And hashtag I'm going to give up my first round draft status currently.
This man will be a first round draft pick. Is who I'm saying.
If not, GM should be fired in succession.
Mykel Williams may be that guy today. And then we progress, fellas. That's my thought. When I think about this kid, and again, I know Devontae Wyatt is not 6'5", and Devontae Wyatt is not 270. Okay, he's 6'3", he's 310. But athleticism and power, Mykel Williams got both of them, and that's Devontae Wyatt to me. So that's my comp.
That ain't a bad comp. Look, y'all, again, what we're saying right now is a guy coming in at 18 on campus is already the talent-wise of a first-round draft choice, and I'm not going to argue with that. If you go watch film. As much excitement as I had for Adam Anderson and his spin move one-on-one coming out of camp, and I got way excited, I have forgotten that game film in entirety. All I know is I was excited about it. I can't tell you anything about it because I saw Mykel Williams come in and he did something beyond exceptional in that game. He flat out abused people on a national stage, supposed to be the best of the best.
Best in the country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
These are all American. Like many of these kids that he's going up against are 5 stars that have potential to play right away at the teams they're going to.
When I see this kid, I think of 2 people instantaneously. I think of Von Miller. Von is 6'5", 250, 6'3", 6'4", 250. I think of size, speed, athleticism, and I think Jonathan Taylor. Y'all remember Jonathan Taylor off that edge? Y'all remember that spin move? You remember that push back with the arm and that rip that he had? He was unstoppable for the Dolphins.
He was terrific. He was terrific on Home Improvement as well. I loved him. I thought he was great. I thought he was fantastic.
He was so good. What a heartthrob. I love it. I love it. For me, this one was actually pretty easy. I didn't go with a first round draft pick that he is comping him right now to a first round draft pick. But I did go with Myles Garrett. So Cleveland Browns, former Texas A&M, number 1 overall.
You went with number 1 overall.
One overall pick. He has the potential to. I genuinely believe he has the potential to grow into a Myles Garrett type player at the University of Georgia and be in. I don't think that he would go first overall. Has time to grow into there. Definitely does. But I see him being a top 10 pick for sure. He has all of the intangibles, all the skills, and Myles Garrett for the last 4 years in the NFL, he's had over 10 sacks a year. Last year, he had 16 sacks, like a complete dominant player in the pass rush. That's for me. When I look at Mykel Williams, I'm like, this kid has the potential to be Myles Garrett.
Except not hitting people with his helmet, probably. Hopefully.
Well,
not removing his helmet.
Listen. We've compared these kids. We've compared these kids to Ndamukong Suh. We've compared these kids to Antonio Brown.
I was just about to say, Michael, executive producer intern Michael got on the podcast. We were throwing out some names that probably just not ideal. We're talking about the players, y'all. It's the players.
Not their antics, not their
yes.
But Myles Garrett, like when I see just his style of play, like that's what I see. I also see maybe Khalil Mack in there as well. Some guys that are just making some noise in the league. Those would be my two.
He's a disruptor, y'all. He's just going to disrupt anything in his path. That's what he is. I don't see any. The sky's the limit for this kid. He might end up being on a lot of Mount Rushmores for us.
Mykel Williams and Marvin Jones Jr. are in the same class for the same school, guys. If you want to just take a moment, soak that in. There are going to be formations for the next 3 years where those two young men stand right next to each other.
Not to belabor the point.
And a tackle is just going, like, what? Who am I going to block?
No, even better. A tight end, a tackle going to hit him, and like, okay, let's combo here, and tight end's going to be like, no, I don't want to. Not to belabor the point. What was the thing that got us a national championship? What was the thing?
Stetson Bennett is what the commenters are saying. People are saying, I just can't. All I can do is repeat what the commenters are saying, and the people in the comments are saying it was Stetson Bennett, Clint, that did win us that national championship.
I'm sure there. We wrote a historic defense that was pressuring and wreaking havoc all over the place with 3 first-round draft choices on the defensive line, and now we got 2 kids that we think could be better than those 3 very soon.
Guys. I want you to take a look into the future. 2 years from now, UGA football, and I want you to think about.
Do I need to put on a robe? Get out of
there's a robe
in order to do this.
You're gonna need something. You're about to levitate. I feel like. Think about looking across an offense, looking across the Georgia defense, and seeing Mykel Williams, seeing Marvin Jones Jr., seeing Xavier Sorey, seeing Small Munden, seeing Dalen Everett, seeing Jaheim Singletary, seeing Malachi Starks. Like, can you just look into the future? And these are just guys that we've just recruited in the last couple of years, not even including the guys that are on the roster currently. There's going to be some trouble. For those offenses. There's going to be some trouble.
It's trouble.
What
if I told you only have to look into the future? What is it, March? So you only have to look into the future 5 months, and you see Jalen Carter, and you
Smith,
and you see Nolan Smith,
and Jamon,
and you see that same Xavier Sorey, and you see, ooh boy, Ooh, boy,
it's gonna be JDJ. And we got some dudes over there. Keely Ringo.
God. About to be trouble.
You know what I heard though? I heard guys that Georgia lost everybody. That we shouldn't. Shouldn't. An Alabama fan told me on Twitter, so I know it's true. So I know it's true.
This is the start of a great story.
Came from Alabama fan on Twitter, said that Georgia was just the one and done LSU.
Yeah. A lot of, when you think about it, John, a lot of similarities. We were led to a national championship by a generational quarterback. Am I right, Weldon brothers? Thank you. We were, and then the kingpin, the architect of our offense, he left. He was gone. He was off to the NFL. I remember when all the gurus and insiders reported that earlier, and so it must be true. Todd Monken is a sure thing to the NFL. He's gone. He's left already. Yeah. And then we didn't return any players. Oh, and our head coach is not an insane person. So, but just a few differences.
It's really that last part. That last part, when you look and you see you got Kirby Smart, or you got the guy who was eating chicken on a stick from a gas station in Oxford, Mississippi, and saying that was the only thing he remembered about being a head coach at Ole Miss was eating chicken on a stick from a gas station.
We'll let you decide, listener, which one you want.
But an Alabama fan told me Georgia is one and done, like LSU.
One and done. Kentucky favorite to win the SEC East next year is what I'm hearing. Kentucky's a favorite. So
Florida has that game. Florida has that game changer coordinator.
I can't.
They do.
I can't.
They do. If you give Florida 4 chances, they could win the Sun Belt. I am almost sure of it. If you give Florida 4 chances, they would win one Sun Belt title.
We haven't even gotten to the point yet. 3rd and Grantham is heading to Bama. Like, we haven't even gotten to that.
Can you imagine? Big frat boy energy Pete Golding, whatever his name is, and 3rd and Grantham in the same defensive
There's
meeting
just a lot of fist fight. There's a lot of fist fighting going on in there.
There's gonna be a lot of belly bumping when they. It's gonna be like Robin Hood Disney with the sheriff and the friar.
Yeah.
All right, we're complete. Intern Michael's in my ear. We've lost control. We're off the rails. This is Locked On Bulldogs.
Stay till the end. That's when you get the real stuff.
Locked On Bulldogs here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Weldon Brothers, thanks for being here. We will see you guys tomorrow.
See ya.